What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. I'm your host, Coach Adam, here with Coach Tara today, and we're going to be discussing how to use your heart rate as a tool in your workouts. Before we do that, we're going to, as always, shout out Member of the Week, and this week it is Debbie Melvin. Debbie is awesome. She's been here, maybe not 6 months yet, but less than 6 months, but knows what's going on, been here for a little while, and is one of those people that can get her workout in at any time, understands, I need to get an hour in, no matter if it's the morning, the afternoon. And full disclosure, she was a member of the week a while back, but we lost that pod. So she's the member of the week again, deservingly so, though. Coming off a busy last couple of weeks, she's been buying a new house and around here, so she's getting in when she can. But great worker, lots of great questions. Yeah, I know.
So that's my favorite thing about her, the questions.
Yeah.
Like, she's wanting to learn.
Yeah,
If
it's fun to
anything's
share.
happening, anything that's doing, like, why am I doing this? Okay, what can we do? What if I did it this way? Like, all the questions. Great for me, for us, because
Yeah,
I like answering questions. That's fun for
yeah,
me.
it's a challenge for us. Like we like challenges, in a good way. So she always
Mhm.
keeps us in check, I guess. So nice job, Debbie.
Make sure we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. You can call us out. Keep it up, Debbie. So for today's topic, talking about heart rate, and how we can use that in the workout effectively. So we've talked in the past about wearables, right? Watches, Fitbits, things like that, and what exactly the heart rate tool can do for you. So there's a couple of different ways to I guess, be able to use it. But here at Legacy, it's another way on how we can try to improve the quality of a strength training session. And everybody has, we're all trying to do progressive overload. We're all trying to probably lose some body fat, gain muscle mass, all these things. But everyone has kind of like a micro goal within that. So we're going to get into some examples of how people, can be lifting, maybe exactly the same weight, but what are they looking at as far as their heart rate? Are they trying to improve their recovery time, or are they trying to spike their heart rate to, something that a range that they haven't done before? So things like that. So why don't we get a little bit into the zones? We got some members here who have somewhat recently discovered different heart rate zones, what it means to work in them. So why don't you take that away, Tara? Let's go through them.
All right, typically we have most categories set up the five working zones.
Yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
that do extend it, but 5 is standard. So the first zone is typically us in our warm up. Um, you're coming in, you're fresh, you haven't done anything all day. So we're trying to get the heart rate up. We're trying to get the blood flowing. Um, so that's just that beginning portion of the workout. And then on the backside, the cool down, you're stretching afterwards, bringing that heart rate back down to that resting beat. So that's typically your zone 1. Zone 2, we're getting a little more active. So as you're finishing up your warm up, we should be a little bit in that zone 2. You're starting to move, heart rate's up. We're not like full set, like deep breathing here,
Hopefully
but
not.
if we are,
We're
we
doing
got
something
other
wrong.
things. But that's where you're like, okay, I feel like I'm warm. Feel the blood flowing. Like for me, you guys all make fun of me about being cold. So after your warm up, you should have warmed up just a little bit. That little small chill is out the air.
It's 105 here in Phoenix this week. Tara's in a sweatshirt all the time for those
All day,
wondering.
every day. Y'all be freezing me out. It's a whole different thing. But anyways, zone 3. Zone 3 is where you're gonna find typically a lot of the workouts.
Yeah.
That's that 70 to 85, not 85, 70 to 80% of that heart rate. That's a lot where you can see the what am I looking for? The endurance of the muscles. How are we recovering after each set? What does that look like? You're actually moving. You're working now.
Yeah.
We're not building up into it anymore. We're doing some work. You'll feel that. Okay, I'm not breathing super hard. I can still talk and conversate, but I can still feel my heart rate up a little bit.
Yeah.
Zone 4, now we're getting kind of up there. Now we're
Pushing it.
taking some deeper breaths in between sets. Like, okay, taking a little longer to recover. Um, Getting up to that lactate or anaerobic threshold.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Not challenging still. We might can talk slightly between deep breaths, but we're not having like a full-blown conversation.
Right.
We can answer some questions, but not like a Sunday walk in the park, having a full conversation.
Yeah.
Then we get to zone 5. Zone 5, we're at max effort. Like think of that sprint or we're lifting. We're in strength, rep 5 of the 5 set. And we're like, whew, you really feeling that. You got to sit down after it. You can't talk. How's that?
Nods and
It
shakes.
was good. That wasn't good. Like that's that zone 5.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how it breaks down as far as the zones. When we say percentage, of course, we're talking about percentage of your max heart rate. So we've talked about it briefly, and you can do like a guesstimation on it, and it's 220 minus your age is going to give you a pretty good estimate of a 100% max heart rate, give or take 5 to 10 ish beats per minute, but it's close. It's ballpark. So, like you said earlier, we touched on zone 3 being 70 to 80%. That's, moderate to moderately high intensity. That's where we're trying to kind of live
Mhm.
in a typical strength workout. And then of course you're gonna have, your outlying, your harder efforts. Maybe that's in your finisher, or like depending on the phase, strength requires a little bit more. And then on the low end of that, your rest in between those working sets. So that's kind of where that's the general layout of the zones. And then of course with zone 5, it's like a max max. Everybody wants to, touch it, but not sustainable. Right. So the key takeaway is that every zone has its own purpose, and that more isn't always better. So like good example is when we have our level 3 people, they've got a little bit of the power work that happens before the majority of their workout, but after the warm up,
Mhm.
right? And they're trying to get to, you know, not zone 5, but they should be in zone 4, right? They're
Mhm.
pushing it, and it's not more because it's only like 6 reps, right? It's 3 sets of 6. It's no high rep scheme, any of that. So it's efficiency and effort over like a short period of time. So that's a good example of how more isn't always better. The goal is touch zone 4 for a short amount of time. Okay, we're done with that block. Take your breather, and now we're going to roll into what should be probably zone 3 for the rest of, or the majority of, the next like half hour to 45 minutes, right?
Mm.
Okay, so when we're looking at strength training as a whole, um, yes, it's about lifting the weights, but it's not only about that, because obviously your cardiovascular system works just as hard as your muscular system during a given workout, because your heart is going to deliver the oxygen and the nutrients to the muscle, to the body, so that we can continue to perform over, a 60-ish minute window. Um, and then the recovery between the exercises is going to determine the quality of which you can then turn around and go and, do it again, right? You were just talking about strength is 5 sets of 5. Recovery, super important if you're expected to replicate 5 reps of super hard effort, 5 times. The recovery is very important there. So, let's just take an example here. So I touched on it briefly. You've got 2 members, and let's just say they're both lifting. They're both doing a 135-pound RDL. Let's just say that. Lower body is always a little more taxing for those who know. Shout out lower body. Um, one of them is recovering to 115 beats per minute, right? Pretty low, probably zone 2, probably. Um, and then another one is also recovering, but the heart rate is like staying at like 150, 160. Or maybe it takes a whole lot longer to recover down to that same 115 that the other member is. So these two people may be lifting the exact same load, same exercise for the same amount of reps, but their training goal should be different, right? We
Yes.
look at the person that is recovering really well and is able to get their heart rate to come down quickly, to a relatively low number. They should probably be focusing on progressive overload, pushing their weights, pushing their resistance, and probably even shortening their
Their rest.
rest because they have the aerobic capacity to turn around, somewhat fully recovered quicker than the other person.
Mhm.
The other person that's staying at 160, it's great to hit 160, but you want to be able to
Get it
recover
down quickly.
because you need some kind of rest before turning around and doing it again. So, they're looking at longer rest periods. So, their training protocol or their approach should be how can I find strategies or ways to bring the heart rate down either quicker or just more efficiently. Um, or maybe it's something that, maybe they're highballing or overshooting the load that they should be using,
I was
right?
to say my first thought would be start lower and then work up to that weight.
Yeah. It might be more of a conditioning thing and less of a like a weight
Strength.
focus and strength focus. Yeah. So that's kind of an example of how, two people, you're standing in your gym and they can look like they're doing the same exact thing, but the mission can be very much different between the two of them. Um, so we're going to go ahead and move into kind of like where the heart rate becomes useful, I guess. We just touched on it with that example. But members are spending most of their time between zones 3 and 4, right? So the goal of this is we're trying to create endurance, like strength endurance, which not just in our endurance phase, that's the goal of that phase specifically, but have it translate into other set and rep schemes. And being able to increase your work capacity because it's hard. Like, for me at least, squeezing in a 60-minute workout is tough, right? Like we're asking our members to do this
A
on
lot.
a day in,
Daily
day out.
basis.
And it's like they're on a schedule essentially, right? Like, yes, we have a lot of space here where they can roll over time and move around if they need to and all these things, but the work capacity's got to be pretty high to get through a strength workout in under 60 minutes.
Mhm.
Right. So, um let's talk a little bit about recovery. What is let's see. I don't want to say this. What does it indicate when we are recovering faster? What's like that first person that we talked about? If they recover quickly, what are the good signs or the good things that they're showing us that they can do with fast recovery?
Um, how do I word this? They are like you touched on it, like their conditioning is there. You've set yourself up that you essentially the progressive overload that we teach and that we do, you've executed it well.
Yeah, you've got that
You've
down.
you've gotten it down.
Yeah.
You're either set like you began here and over time you've worked through that load. We did it over time and it's like, okay, now that you're conditioned, your body can handle it. We're good. Now, like you mentioned, like with the first person, you either now we're increasing the load to now take you back out of whack to get you
So it's
essentially
pretty much, yeah, we got to keep showing you new stuff.
we get you together, get you efficient, and then we throw something at you to get you all out of whack. And then okay, now can we get back to being efficient? That's
Sure.
essentially what we're doing
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause otherwise you get bored, right? I mean, we get bored, you
You
get
get
bored. We
bored.
should be challenging
Now you're
ourselves.
not burning as much calories because your body's now efficient with that. We can run through that. Basically, that's what it is. Your body's efficient.
Yeah.
You can go through this taxing workout that should be taxing. And if you can breeze through it, so great, you're in condition, but now your body's not working as hard to get through the same
Yeah.
workout. So now that that it's comfortable, it's normal now. Now that's when we need to change it. So now that you can still get the benefits that you want, the calorie burning, the muscle gain, like all that stuff That's why we have to change
Yeah,
the workout,
there's
change
gotta
the
be a new
phases.
stimulus, or you're just, you're gonna go through your plateaus.
Mhm.
It's not like everything's gonna fall apart, but we gotta continue to adapt, right? So we're gonna go over a couple of myths, some things that we hear in the gym or you've heard here and there, whatever. So myth number one: if my heart rate isn't sky high, I didn't work hard. Okay. This is what places like Orange Theory and F45 live off of, right? They live off
Mhm.
of high heart rate. So it's a rate of perceived exertion question. People that go there, yes, you're getting a workout, your heart rate is through the roof. Does that translate to getting quality work accomplished? Is then would be my next question to
We
somebody
have
in that
strength
class.
gains.
Right.
Are we in a a capacity to adapt
Right.
to adapt to said training? When you're in that high when you have that high heart rate for so long, like you said, the quality of training isn't there. We're just trying to do something real quick to keep you up here, but like, what are you really doing?
Right.
What's the
I can go
quality?
outside and run around for 20 minutes in circles and get my heart rate super high. Am I getting anything done? No.
You sweated.
Yeah.
You broke a sweat a little bit, but like, what are
Yeah.
we really? What are you truly working on? There's a
Yeah.
time and a place for that, sure, but what's your goal? What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
That's what
And
it comes
the
down
the
to.
reality of it is that heavy strength training, or heavy, proportionally to you, whatever heavy means to you, is going to produce more of an adaptation,
Mhm.
right? And you're gonna spike to those same heart rates that you're seeing in a class structure like those other places, but more is getting accomplished, more stimuli are getting introduced than, just heart rate seeking, right? Like
Mhm.
we don't want to just be like, oh, I need to get to 180, every round that I'm doing, pushing these tens over my head. It's like, well, okay. Yeah, I mean that's cool for a while, but you're always gonna be pushing tens over your head, right? That's it. Okay, myth number two. It's a good one. Calories. Calories burned equals workout quality. Okay. So back to the wearables. A lot of them show calorie burn, right? Estimates, by the way, estimates. Um, it creates there's this, how do I say this? So, well, the Apple Watches, at least, they also break down total versus active.
Yes.
Right. So the whole goal of putting on muscle mass and strength training and working out is to increase your metabolism.
Mhm.
A higher metabolism burns calories, which in turn keeps you in a calorie deficit, which in turn helps you burn body fat. That's that little step where I said calorie in the middle of that. That's where calories come into play, but you need the strength training because when you're outside of the gym, not in the 60 minutes that you're here or 45 for those who like to crank it out, you want your body to be working for you, burning those calories. You might as well keep your watch running all day if you're really curious about the calories, right? And turn it off while you're here in the gym because it's more about the calorie burn, quote unquote, at rest or not
Mhm.
at during active exercise that's going to have some kind of effect on your
I mean,
goals.
because the expectation is to burn calories while you are working
Yeah,
out.
and
So,
like of
like,
course it's going to
it's
happen.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, the watch numbers, I just find it funny because, like, I took a nutrition class and my professor was like, calculate your calories burned throughout the day. So I'm used to looking at my watch, six, 700, whatever that looks like.
Yep.
And I actually did the caloric breakdown and it was like upwards of thousands. Like,
Mm.
I was like, wait, did I do my math wrong? Am I wrong? And I was like, well, when you're actually looking throughout the entire day and what
Yeah.
you're actually doing, the couple hundred that you do here in the gym is like a
You're
drop in the bucket.
for a 1 hour workout is 4% of your day, right? We've said it before. So by looking at your calorie count during your workout, you're trying to take a snapshot of how many calories you burn in a day by looking at 4% of your day. So there's the other 96% of your day with calorie expenditure that's what we're trying to get to be high, but you
Mhm.
get to do that. That happens only by increasing your metabolism,
Mhm.
or maybe you go and you do some other form of activity or exercise, whatever. But it's just funny because people will be here like, I burned 600 calories this hour. I was like,
That was a great workout.
great workout. Like, did you PR on anything? Did you,
Break a sweat.
yeah, or you sweat, it's just calories is interesting, but the calorie focus isn't actually usually in the gym. So keep that in mind. All right, last one. Last one. I should stay in a fat burning zone throughout my workout.
What is a fat burning zone?
I don't know, Tara. What is
Um,
it? I don't know either.
I don't know.
Apparently, I mean, I think you can burn fat in all of them. So,
Yeah.
all of them? Question mark. I don't
Okay.
know. It comes from overall. Well, fat loss comes from overall energy balance, which is what we were just talking about, right? Calories are energy. So, how well do you balance your surplus? Bad. Or deficit? Good.
So calories you're eating,
Yep.
calories burned. Deficit, calories burned is higher
Yep.
than the calories you eat. Surplus, calories you eat is more
Simple.
calories you're burning.
Chapter one, simple equation right there.
Want to be in a deficit.
You want to be in a deficit, especially if a fat loss is your goal. So don't look at things as a fat burning zone. Look at your workout is your tool to get your metabolism into a state in which it can burn fat for you. That's a better way, I think, to probably look at that. And then, of course, like you were saying, in correlation with good nutrition, it will just expedite the process the sharper and the more locked in you are to both of those things at the same time. All right.
Mhm.
So, kind of to wrap it up here, heart rate is a great tool. It means different things for different people depending on your goal. I do think it's important to keep an eye on it during your
Very
workout.
true.
Like we have people not only like, there's people with like medical conditions, you got the AFib things, stuff like that. But it's also a great measure of intensity, right? And that's how a lot of times you can feel fatigued or you can feel tired, but a lot of times your heart rate will let you know if you actually are or not,
Mhm.
right? It kind of eliminates mental blockages or
Like,
mental
is it just
inputs.
muscular fatigue because we're working out, or are we doing a good quality session?
Yeah. Yeah. So we've said that to a few people just in the last week or so. So that we've been doing check-ins recently. So um it's gonna being locked into your heart rate is gonna help improve your quality of your workout. Intensity is gonna be individualized to everybody, like we were just talking about. Monitor your recovery. It's a great indication as to cardiovascular efficiency, things like that. It can also change your goals, like we were talking about with the example earlier, the two people lifting the same weight, different goals. Right. And then overall, I mean, cardiovascular fitness is super important in the long run.
Mhm.
So we always want to it's fun to go and lift weights and stuff, but we want to make sure that there's a balance and doing cardio isn't doing cardio isn't the only thing that addresses cardiovascular fitness, right? Your
Right.
strength training session does as well, and heart rate is a good tool to use to evaluate that. So keep wearing your wearables, use it as a tool. It's not life or death, it's not all or nothing. But we do think here that it is a good thing to use depending on your situation. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there, guys, and we'll talk to you next week.